Hello, it's Dr. Rhonda Johnson, and today is Thursday, May 6, 2021. And today I'm going to be talking about a question that I was recently asked and sharing my response to the question. So, yesterday I was asked a question by a friend which went like this. So, I got vaccinated because I thought it was the right thing to do. But what does this really mean that I'm vaccinated? What is the vaccine really doing? So I explained to my friend that when this virus came into the world back in Wuhan, China, in November 2019, what was unique about it was that this was the first time human beings, the human race, had ever been exposed to the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So this was a novel virus for us back then, and no one had immunity to this virus. So what happens when you have a whole susceptible population without any immunity? Well, the virus has a field day, and that is essentially what has happened in this global pandemic. So let's talk about this vaccine. What the vaccine does, these coronavirus vaccines, is it gives us a chance to have immunity against this deadly, potentially deadly virus. So the COVID vaccine primes your immune system with like a decoy. The decoy is a synthetic replication of this coronavirus spike protein. All these vaccines have the spike protein as its immunogenic source. So the vaccine presents this fake version of the spike protein of the real coronavirus. But even though it's fake, it's not the real thing. It's real enough so that our immune system recognizes it as a foreign invader. Your immune system is like this patrolling army. It's a whole armed forces of cells and antibodies and proteins and connectors. So in communicators, it's this entire invading army that just patrols from head to toe, making sure that everything is okay. So your immune system, when it sees a spike protein, it mounts a defense. So you get your first dose and it produces some level of protection. But then for the second dose, it really hits it with all the firepower that it can. And that's good because the SARS-CoV-2 virus is a very potent virus. It affects so many different cells, from our brains to our kidneys to our hearts to our lungs to our GI tract. So we want to really make sure that our immune system is really ready to fight this virus. So that's why many people, when they get the second shot, they feel kind of sick because their immune system is working. It's like the immune system says, look, we're mounting a full armed attack against this vaccine. So then going forward, if you get infected with the real coronavirus after you're fully immunized, the virus will get inside your body because it'll travel from somebody else's respiratory droplets or mucus droplets. It'll get into your body. It might replicate in some of your cells in your nose and your throat. But you can be sure if your immune system is healthy, it's going to kick in. And after a few days, it'll stop the replication in its tracks of this virus in your cells. So it might only replicate in the mucous membranes of your nose or your throat, but it shouldn't get much further than that. That's what the COVID vaccine does, folks. It's very effective in keeping you from getting sick, hospitalized, and dying. Now, I will be truthful. There have been 1.1 billion vaccine doses given out throughout the world. And here in the United States, 248 million vaccine doses have gone into arms. Now, we've learned a few things since the clinical trials of these vaccines. We've learned that many people who have weakened immune systems, who weren't included in the clinical trials, like the frail elderly and cancer survivors, their immune system may not be as strong as a healthy 21-year-old college student. And how do we know that? Because as of late April, there were 9,000 breakthrough COVID cases among the fully vaccinated population of 95 million Americans. Now you do the math and you see that 9,000 divided into 95 million gives you a very, very, very small number. So these vaccines are highly effective. And what they're doing analysis on these 9,000 people who have had these breakthrough COVID cases, they're not finished with all the data, but here's what I've learned is that 40% of the breakthrough cases were in people 60 and up. And again, the older you get, the less effective your immune system is. 60% of the reported breakthrough infections were in women, and 30% of these reported breakthrough infections were considered asymptomatic to mild. So overall, folks, the scientific data shows that these COVID-19 vaccines are incredibly effective, and they drastically reduce people's risk of contracting the coronavirus and getting sick. So if you are fully vaccinated, you should feel safe. You should feel safer than people who are unvaccinated because the data demonstrates the overwhelming effectiveness of these vaccines. I hope that helped you understand what these vaccines are doing, what they're really doing, and what the data is showing. As always, my views are my own. Stay safe, folks. I'll keep these videos coming because there's a lot of information to share with you in the next couple of weeks. This is Dr. Rhonda Johnson, and as always, have a blessed day.